Well, it's Wednesday Wisdom. It's that time of the week where we look forward to the end of the week and we might need a little push to get us through. We might want to reflect on a quote that will help us aim higher, to aim out of mediocrity into something greater, to help us to aim higher. And today's quote is from Bruce Lee, philosopher, martial arts instructor, actor. He says this. He says, "The successful warrior is the average man with a laser-like focus." I mean, that's the formula for success. Take average, add laser-like focus, and it equals successful. Most of us settle for average. That's why we call it average. What does a laser-like focus require? Well, it requires a goal. It requires mental discipline. It requires follow-through. It requires action, massive action, and it requires enforcement. This circle of constantly looking at things in a laser-like focus: goal, mental discipline, follow-through, action, and reinforcement. So most lose along the way. They lose this focus. Maybe their goal wasn't strong enough. Maybe their mental discipline wasn't practiced and rehearsed. Maybe their follow-through was weak, or maybe they didn't have massive action. Maybe it was just kind of mediocre if they even got to that step. And I think it's important to remember, you don't need discipline. You don't need reinforcement to do average things, right? If you don't need discipline to eat more potato chips and binge watch Netflix, that's not going to require the discipline and laser-like focus for most of us. But it's those little extras, that little daily disciplines, that incredible focus, that's what makes all the difference in the world. I met someone who had this laser-like focus on buying his first rental property. This was something he had dreamed of. He and his wife had been scouting properties and just really dreamed to become a real estate investor. He had the picture of his ideal home on his refrigerator. He had the picture of his ideal home on the dashboard of his car. So I would see it wherever he was. It was on his notebooks. It was everywhere he wanted. It was taped to the back of his phone. And one day, he said, "I want to take you on a little drive across town." And we drove across town and we got out and we're at the curb, and he looked out and he pointed and he said, "Look." And he held up that picture. And it was so similar because he had a laser-like focus on his dream. The quote is so important. It's also important to realize that it's average, right? The successful warrior is the average man, the average person with laser-like focus. We think of average, we always think about successful. We think maybe it's a superhuman person with amazing talent, with everything right, the right connections, the right education. But that's not what it requires. Success is actually starting with average, adding laser-like focus to create success. And that's really what it's all about. And so as you think about ending this week, as you think about going forward, think about this amazing quote. Think about Bruce Lee's wisdom. If you want to aim higher, the successful warrior is the average man with a laser-like focus. Average plus laser-like focus equals success. That is how you aim higher.